Thank you, everybody, for joining us today to learn about Age Solar Leads. We're excited that you're joining us to learn about Age Leads. Please, like always, go ahead and send messages inside of this platform, and we will be able to see those and read those and ask those to Rance immediately. The purpose of this webinar is for Age Leads is so that way we can put this in the book. I have knowledge on Age Leads, but I want to make sure that when we put it in the book, it is cross-checked with a professional, someone that fully understands this and lives this day to day. It's really easy to sit behind a computer screen, a desk, and a chair and talk about things that you don't know about or that you have little experience with. I have done that. I haven't lived the day to day and had the hands in. I'm usually on the business side of it where I get to hire these people or to make the decision of spending the revenue on it. But the reason I'm interested in learning more about this is that when I am in those positions, I can make a far more educated decision, and I can filter out the people that know what they're talking about a little bit better than others can. And before we get started and introduce you to Rance, I want to introduce you to David. David is on here to help me because in those C-suite meetings that I'm talking about, or in times that I'm consulting other companies and talking about leads and what they should look for and know, they don't necessarily understand some of the language that we use or that Rance might use. And David is in here to be the mouthpiece for those of you that want to ask the very generic questions. Questions you might not know, the very basic questions. In case something is slipping your mind and you guys don't ask it, David is in here to be that voice. David, why don't you introduce yourself and in your words, tell everyone why you're here.
Yeah, appreciate that, Jake. So kind of like Jake said, just a little bit of background quick. I've been in the solar industry for, say, about 4 years as a sales rep. So, I'm kind of, like I said, kind of here to specifically this topic. I don't know much about Age Leads, so kind of here to ask questions, when they're talking some high level stuff that you guys may not know, and I certainly may not know. I'm going to kind of interject and say, hey, let's tone that down a little bit. What's that even mean? How do we use that information? How's it going to help someone like myself or your average solar pro? So yeah, thanks. Appreciate you having me on and looking forward to it.
Very good. Thank you, David. So here we are, Rance. Thank you for joining us and coming on this show and making sure that we're training and saying the right things. Thank you for coming on and being the expert and sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm happy to help, and I'm happy to help people, learn more about this specific topic and learn more about Age Leads and how it might be able to help them and help their company.
How long have you been doing and working with Age Leads?
So just a little bit of background. I've been in lead generation and marketing for, 8 years now, 8 or 10 years. I started generating real-time leads and creating advertisements, like one-on-one advertisements for people, like 8 years ago or so. Doing that, I learned that, with exclusive leads, it sounds great. Exclusive sounds so awesome because only you have it. Well, after a little bit of time, you realize that exclusive leads aren't ever exclusive because you can't control how many times that homeowner is shopping around, right? So you may pay a lot of money for an exclusive lead and you have no idea how many times they've requested quotes. So I started learning that and really and seeing that when we would call people, or I would call people myself from the leads we generated, they would be like, well, you're the 5th person I've talked to. And I'm like, how's that possible? I generated the lead myself. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a background of how I got into Age. So I started realizing that I was like, well, why would I spend so much money on, generating my own leads or generating exclusive leads for other people when I can go and find an Age lead for a fraction of the cost that is going to tell me the same thing I'm hearing as far as, oh, I've already talked to somebody, or I'm not interested. All the things you're going to hear a homeowner say that you're going to have to work through, or the objections you're going to have to overcome. Why would I pay $50 when I can pay 50 cents? So I kind of made that realization, and I started testing it with our solar company here in the Midwest. Started seeing that, the ROI was just better on Aged leads, and that's kind of, and the rest is history, I guess.
Well, I'm very thankful that you brought that stuff up. If it's okay with you, I think this is the proper platform to do it. I'm going to push back on you pretty heavily on these things, only with the mindset that I want to learn I want to be corrected, and I
Sure.
want the misconceptions out there to be corrected, and I want people to understand age leads in a way, because it's really easy for people to hear something like that, right, from a professional like yourself, and wonder if there's any bias put in that, and wonder if it's okay, what's the agenda that this person has. Now, it's hard because maybe yourself, you're like, no, I'm just super passionate about this and I'm trying to help you guys. But as you know, anytime someone is there and they could benefit from it, we always have that air of skepticism, right?
Sure.
So I'm going to come at you a little bit and push on you, and hopefully put a little pressure on you to answer these things so that we can put this in the book in a way that's palatable for the people to read through it and understand it and make highly educated decisions. You ready for that?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. What do you have against exclusive leads? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Here we
I
go.
was gonna say nothing. I don't have anything against them. If you want them, I can do them for you. So it's where I'd like to say, like, obviously I own agesolarleads.com, so it's gonna appear like I'm super biased and I want you to go to my website and buy a bunch of leads, right? The thing is, though, like, I'll do exclusive leads for you too. So if the goal was just me making money, and that's where my bias would come from. If you want exclusive leads, I'll do them for you also. So.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit. Let's talk about the difference between age leads and exclusive leads, because I'm going to play a video that Rance sent over to us to watch. Rance is on here to help us learn everything, but also we wanted to pay him forward a little bit, and we have a little 1-minute video for y'all to watch. But on that video, I took the liberty of watching it. It does specifically talk about age leads and the value of them, and some of the services that you'll do surrounding those age leads. One of those services, for example, is that if the homeowner, if it's a disconnected phone number or the homeowner is no longer available, that you will replace those age leads, right?
Yep, no questions asked.
I saw that in the video, and so here's my question: at what point, who's measuring, who's documenting the cost of paying for an exclusive lead? Nah, I take that back. Let's back up a little bit and define what age lead versus exclusive lead means. If you were on here a little bit ago, Rance just suggested that an exclusive lead means that when the homeowner sees a video or they see an ad or a landing page put online and they click on it and respond to it and type that info in, then the company that put that lead out there on the website or that YouTube video that you click to go find out more, when they click on that and they fill out the information and that lead comes back to the business has no right to sell that to anyone else except you. That's an exclusive lead. But what Rance was saying was that doesn't mean that I'm in the solar industry and this is the solar manual. That doesn't mean that when that ad popped up for solar and they filled it out, that they also did not go and fill out another ad for another company 5 more times, 5 other companies. You might be the 6th one that they did. You might be the first one of 6, 10, 15, who knows? Yes, the lead is exclusive from the organization that you purchased it from, hopefully. We do need to check on that. Do your due diligence, look at reviews. But that lead is exclusive to you from that company. But there is no assurance that that lead is exclusive just specifically for solar only, and you will be the only person in solar calling them. So that is an exclusive lead, the way that I understand it. Is that right, Rance?
Yeah, and a lot of the times exclusive leads are also real time. So, that's a lead that's come within like 5 minutes after the homeowner has submitted that info. So that's another kind of caveat to an exclusive lead, typically, generally.
Now, with exclusive leads, and I didn't know that they were the same, real time and exclusive. I didn't know those were the same. I didn't know they go hand in hand. Is that always the case?
No, it's not always the case, but just generally speaking, when someone says exclusive leads, they're also going to, tell you that this is a real time lead. So as soon as that homeowner's filled out that info, it's going to go to you. And that way, that, it hasn't been routed to 10 other people or, it's not just been sitting around forever, because at that point it's an aged lead. Now there are things, and there are things that are basically called like an aged exclusive lead. So there are companies that will generate leads and not sell them multiple times. They will, maybe it has been setting for 10 days, 2 weeks, but it hasn't been sold yet.
Real time portion.
Right. That takes out the real time. It's still exclusive, However, it's not real time. So I think there's 3 buckets of leads. There's an aged lead, which typically is 7 days or older. It's not exclusive. It can be shared multiple times. That's why the price usually is as low as it is for aged leads. The second type would be just your real-time exclusive lead that is coming as soon as the homeowner has filled out the info. It just pings on your CRM, your text, you get a text or email, whatever. And then the third would be an exclusive lead that isn't real-time. It could be setting for a little while, but it has not been sent to anyone else yet.
Understood. So an aged lead itself, let's talk about age because we just described what an exclusive lead was. An aged lead, I heard a great analogy. It's if you were to go to a yard sale or a garage sale and you're going and looking at the product, you already know that that product has been used. There might be some bumps, bruises, scratches, and you already know it's going to be less expensive because you're at a garage sale, yard sale. And nobody that goes to a yard sale or garage sale is frustrated that the product is used because it's understood. And what baffles me a little bit is when people get frustrated when they buy aged leads and they say, what is going on here? I bought aged leads from you. This isn't working. Well, of course, you have purchased a lead that has been used by other people, by other businesses, maybe lightly, maybe heavily. Are there buckets that the aged it's not solar. So the aged companies, the aged leads that are generated, are there buckets that these companies put them into saying these ones were lightly used, these ones were heavily used, and these ones, you're brave if you touch them? Do they create different buckets like that?
Generally, that's going to be just based on the age, right? So a 7 to 30 day aged lead, in theory, will be used less than a 30 to 90 day aged lead.
Well, what's to prevent these, if it is an aged lead sale, right? If someone's selling aged leads, what policies are there in place or what prevents these people, these businesses from selling this aged lead, whether it's 7 days, 10 days, or 2 months old, to 3,000 people at the same time?
There really isn't anything to stop that per se. It doesn't happen just from the data from my website, where people buy leads. It never happens that much. It doesn't get anywhere close to that.
That was an exaggeration, but let's say 10 people.
Let's say 10 people.
Let's say it's 1
month.
month.
5 people. 5 people in a month.
5 people.
That's probably about the most.
So I guess how would anyone know? Let's say I wanted to buy aged leads. I understand their age and I understand they're used. And if we're using the yard sale analogy and I want to buy a baseball card from a yard sale, is the baseball card ripped in half? Are all the edges tattered on the side, or is it used and it's in a sleeve and it looks good, but I know that it was already open from the pack and it looks like a good card? How do we know this for aged leads? How do we know what we're actually buying? How do we know that the business didn't sell it to 15 people that are using it at the same time that I'm trying to? Like, what precautions are out there, and do these companies? And I'm stumbling a little bit because I've not asked this question before. So thank you for being on to do this. What safety precautions are there for me as a consumer to know that these companies are not selling it to 20 people at the same time and I'm competing in them? 20 people, the homeowner just got 20 emails that same day from the 20 people that just bought that lead.
So there's a lot to unpack there, but I will start with I will start from the perspective of a solar rep or company buying the lead and what protections protect them from buying a lead that's been tattered, ripped, or whatever. There's a few different ways. I mean, there are different levels to aged leads. There are just a general what people calls like a co-reg lead. So a co-reg aged lead is a lead that has been generated through a sort of like parallel vertical. What I mean by that is there are certain companies that will sell a aged solar lead or an aged co-reg lead for solar that come from an advertisement for an home improvement service, such as windows or roofing or landscape, whatever, right? So it's basically a home, it is a homeowner, and that they're, in the market for improving their home somehow in some way. Those are typically the least expensive type of, aged lead that people will buy for solar purposes, right? As far as protecting how many times those can be sold, there's not really any protection on those type of leads on how many times they can be sold, right? Where the benefit of something like that is just like any other, it's almost like any other type of lead though. Like, you're banking on the fact that either your closing ability is better, you have confidence in your ability to get that homeowner to respond better than the previous 4 people, 6 people, 10 people, whatever, did. You have the quality of work that your company does. You have pride in that, and that, maybe the other people that contacted the homeowner, don't have as, just as high as quality as work as you do. And then the third thing is, as we all know, there are a large portion of people that when they buy leads, they never call them. I mean, I have customers all the time that I'll follow up with them when they place a huge order, and I'm like a month later, and I'm like, hey man, I was like, how'd that work out for you? Did you guys get any appointments or sales off of that? Oh, we're going to call them this week. Dude, it's been a month. Like, you already bought it aged, and it's been a month and you haven't even called. So there's a lot of factors. Okay. The second type of lead would be a more premium aged lead, which those are going to have things like what people have heard of like a lead ID token or an opt-in token or a Journaya ID, basically a tracking token that you can actually track and see where that lead was generated, how it was generated, who got it initially, if it's been sold, 30 times or whatever. Those are a little bit more premium. So those type of leads that come with those opt-in tokens, and if I need to break down what an opt-in token is, I can. Basically, what an opt-in token is it's a series of numbers and letters that is attributed to a particular lead. It's sort of like the lead's social security number.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like the social security number for a lead, and where that information is, and where that social security number for a lead is getting generated is through a different type of software, Active Prospect and Journaya and Trust. Oh, there's a lot of different things that do this, but basically it just tracks that this homeowner actually did this. It actually was for solar, and it's sort of protected more than a free for all kind of co-reg lead. So that's with that. Now, hopefully that answers some questions about, from the perspective of the solar rep or the solar company buying aged leads. From the homeowner's perspective, there's really nothing currently that protects a homeowner from getting 15, 20 calls, emails, once they've requested info once or twice or however many times. So that is one thing that you've got to, combat as well as a solar company. But I mean, to me, in my perspective, it's no different than door knocking, because if you live in an area that is very popular for solar and you have a lot of solar companies and canvassing teams, there've been door knocked a lot also. So it's no different than the, resistance you may find as a door knocker who's going to a house that's been door knocked 7 times already this month. It's the same thing with the lead. Yeah. Yes, it sucks that lead has been sold to 20 people and 20 people have called the person, and the homeowner's got, fatigue from talking to so many solar companies or solar reps. But again, like, there are those times that you'll find someone that, yes, they've talked to 5, 10 people, but they're educated. That homeowner doesn't have as many questions because they've gone through the process. And let's be honest, like, we're in a day and age where people, like, they shop, they compare, they go to different things and see who's got the best price, who's got the best quality. They want to they make informed decisions. They just do. It's just the state of, our economy and the way everything is. People want to get the best bang for their buck. So you're going to find a homeowner that's educated. You're going to find homeowners that, maybe a month ago, it wasn't the right time. It just wasn't. There's things going on in their lives. Kids had baseball games when you called, whatever it is. And then you catch them 60 days after they've been generated as a lead, and they're ready to actually listen to you, and you can make some traction there. So that's a lot of words, but hopefully it helps.
That was quite a bit. I'll try to remember it all to speak to it. But one thing I did like that you talked about was the analogy of door knocking. I'm a door knocker, or I was a door knocker. I will always be a door knocker for those of you that understand that. It's just a culture, is a way of life. But one of my favorite things to do was go to homes that had been previously knocked, because I custom tailored my pitch to be able to accommodate that type of scenario. I wanted the freshly knocked ones, and so I would actually follow behind the people that I sent out on purpose. I wouldn't take new areas. I didn't think they were prepped well enough, to your point. So if people are purchasing aged leads, I guess I understand the analogy. It would come down to how creative it is that you're reaching out to the person, how well you are at marketing, how well you're wording the title, whether it's being or is the median that's being sent, like we can send a median through email, we can send it through mailing campaigns. It doesn't matter. Is aged leads set to one type of median in communication? Phone calling?
No.
Okay.
I have customers that they do everything you can think of. Some will door knock, some will direct mail, some will send an email, some, if they have those opt-in tokens, they'll send in texts, they'll call. I mean, everybody's got their own sort of method. And the way that technology and like CRMs are these days, there are so many ways to use digital tools for your outreach. So I would say there's no like secret sauce method that's better than the others. There's a lot of ways to do it, and every region of the country responds differently to different things. So you really got to kind of just know the people in your market and tailor it to them.
When you're buying aged leads, do you get to choose what market you purchase those leads in that they live in?
Yep.
Well, actually, before we keep going with more questions and more thoughts, I think it'd be really interesting for you guys to watch this video that I mentioned earlier. I watched it with the intent of understanding what was on this video so I could speak to Rance on it with an education, right? I wanted to know what was in that video so I could ask Rance the questions on here. What I would really love is for the viewers that are on here right now, watch the video with the intent of reading what is on the slides, because it may invoke some questions in your mind that you get to type and ask us and ask Rance here directly. Pretty interesting stuff that's on there, and it does raise a lot of questions if you are interested in purchasing these aged leads, or if you've heard that they're good and you're a bit skeptical and you're not certain if you should make this move. Check out what this thing says.
We're writing the book on solar literally, and you can be part of it. Sponsor a segment in the solar manual that you are passionate about and be cited as an industry expert. Plus, pre-order the book now to get it at the lowest possible price. This is your opportunity to contribute to the ultimate industry reference. Visit thesolarmanual.com to learn more.
All right. So yeah, there were some things on there that were super interesting. For example, you'll never get the same lead twice. It's interesting that you've developed a system that will filter this out for an individual buyer, right?
Right.
I would imagine if you, not just you, Rance, but anyone that does age solar leads or anyone that's looking into it, I would imagine if you have the ability to filter those leads out so that there is no duplicate, you can also track and measure how frequently you have sold that same lead to other organizations. Is that right?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. So do you disclose that information before selling it, or is that something that people just need to understand? You're buying an aged lead, doesn't matter if I've sold it 100 times or one time.
Well, there's a reason why we don't really track that, because we could tell you how many times it's been sold, like on our website. But again, that lead could have, I can't, the easiest way to say it is I can't control if someone comes and buys a lead from our website and then resells it again. Like that is, I would say if we're going to talk about all the positives, we might as well talk about the negative of age leads as well. Right. So let me set that aside for a second. But as far as the duplicate thing goes, basically the system that we've developed and others have the same thing is basically you have a suppression list, which is just a list of all the leads that you've ever bought or generated from anyone, you've ever bought from or marketing you done yourself. What you can do is not just with our company, some other aged lead providers as well. You can provide that list so that you're not going to get that same lead again, right? You don't want to pay for a lead twice. With our system on our website is anytime you buy a lead from the website, it just automatically, marks that in your account as a purchase lead. So you'll never get it. And you can also upload your own suppression to our website so that when you're searching through our database, you're never going to see the same duplicate leads that you might have already purchased.
So is that something that purchasers of aged leads should look for from a company, from an organization? Is that a service you specifically do, or is it standard that every aged lead seller does that?
So what's different about my company versus the other ones is speed and on the on-demand factor, right? You can take your own.
Your company. I guess I'm asking just in general, because remember that index we're going to flip and go
right. So in general, yes, you want to find someone that's going to accept a suppression list. Yeah, you would definitely want to look for that, whether it's me or anyone else. You'll want
that's
somebody.
The criteria we ask. Do you have a suppression list? Is that the way to word it?
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
Very cool.
Do you have a suppression list? Just because you don't want to, you don't want to pay for something you may already have. So, but yeah, it's not specific. Like I said, it's not specific to just one company. If they're a good data company or aged leads company, they should have that feature available.
Okay, I have a question on that. This may sound silly, but say I have this suppression list and, I give it to you to upload it. What's to stop a company from just taking all my data that maybe you didn't have any of that data, but now you do?
So typically a suppression list is just a list of phone numbers. So that phone number won't really, you could get that from a phone book. You don't want to share like your entire list of like the leads, the name, the address, the email, the, what their roof shading may be or credit score. You're not giving all that info when you upload a suppression. You're literally just giving a one column spreadsheet of only phone numbers.
Oh, no data associated with it. Gotcha. Good question, David. Anything else, David?
Yeah, I actually do. Coming from somebody like myself that I don't know, I'm learning just as much as anybody else on this call about age leads. I'm come from a door knocking background. Say I wanted to, kind of switch things up, and I would like to switch things up actually. Where would somebody like myself even start? Like I wouldn't even know. I'm in a lot of different Facebook groups and, talk to a lot of people in the industry. And, I know your company's a little bit different than, appointment setting companies. But nonetheless, from my perspective, just being in the industry as long as I have a bias against all lead generating companies, appointment setting companies. In my mind, 100% of them are not good. And obviously I know that, you have to, if you're in business, most likely, you're not all bad. But from my experience, I've never heard of anybody having any good feedback, any good testimonials. Just personally, I know there's some good things out there, but what would I even do to start to, one, protect myself from that? Like, what company do I go with? What's a good way to vet a company? And then once I do vet a company, okay, I like this company, I like the feel, I feel like they're going to do me right. Then where do I even start?
I love that question. Kind of like a company should have a suppression list, right? What else? Yeah, that's a beautiful question, David. What else should we look for, Rance?
So obviously any word of mouth, advice you're going to get from other people, other peers that they've done it already, if they've had success with a particular company or person, obviously that's great. That's like a testimonial. So you want to,
if they have references.
yeah, references, or just if you have a friend mention to you, hey, I went with so and so and it worked out great for me. Obviously those are the best type of things you want to hear and help you make your decision. If you don't have any feedback from anybody and you really don't know where to start, I would say go with someone that's very transparent, right? That's very honest and upfront. If you're dealing with a exclusive lead gen company or a age lead company, you just want to ask them just a few questions, and make sure it's not like leads that are being generated in Pakistan or homeowner data that's cold. Like there are some very nefarious practices in the lead industry, and not just in solar, just every lead industry. Like there are some people that will just take homeowner data, which is just from a credit bureau, and then they'll just dress it up and make it look like a solar lead or like an insurance lead or whatever. So those are the type of things you just want to kind of vet the person, asking questions, kind of what we've talked about here. Like we will talk about, like, where do they come from? Like, where do the leads come from? Like, how many times are they sold? That type of stuff, just general questions. And then also, you want to find someone that's not just like an individual that's just like come sliding in your Facebook DMs. You know what I mean? You want to find a company that provides data, a data company or a data provider. That's another thing. I would refrain from buying from individuals that don't have an established company of some sort.
Yeah, I get most people in these Facebook groups, I get people DM me every single day. Hi, how's your solar business going? I know exactly where they're going. As soon as they start talking, and just kind of X them out immediately. These questions that you're talking about that you should ask. What would you say? Like, what would be the top 3 questions I would ask one of these lead providers to kind of get the ball rolling and protect myself, make a good decision?
Yep. So the first thing would be like, what's your company? Do you have a company? Are you just a guy that's going, like, are you just a guy that's going to Rance's website, buying leads and then middlemaning and selling them to me? Like, you know what I mean? Or do you have a real company? Where does the leads come from? That's kind of the first question. Second question would be like, what happens if I get a bad lead, right? Are you going to replace this data if I get, because it's inevitable you're going to get a disconnected number, or you're going to get somebody, if you buy an older lead that's already got solar. So am I just stuck with that, or are you going to work with me and help me, rectify that issue? That'd be the second question I'd ask. And the third question I would be like, just basic stuff is like, okay, how do you accept payment, right? What is your preferred form of payment? Are you wanting me to PayPal you? Are you wanting me to Venmo you? Or do you have Stripe or Square or something legit set up where I can see that you're an actual entity and not just some dude that I'm going to PayPal and then see you later?
Purchase through a website, like, sort of deal.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Hey, are you ready to elevate your brand in the solar industry? Join us at SolarCon, the largest residential solar conference. Take advantage of discounted sponsorships and showcase your brand to thousands of industry professionals. Plus, get discounted tickets to attend and network with the brightest minds in the solar industry. Do not miss the opportunity to be part of the premier event in solar. Visit attendsolarcon.com to secure your spot today.
Great question, David. David, have you got any more up your sleeve, or do we keep going?
We can keep going for now. Thank you.
All right, dude. I love when you interrupt and ask those questions. Those are good. Those are fire questions. Right on. So, Rance, I want to talk. I have a lot more questions about age leads, but I want to talk a little bit about how to convert these age leads, or the best way to do that. So, as we go through and talk about some of these other questions, maybe we can keep in mind a way that we can utilize that information to convert for conversion. So, we mentioned a little bit on an aged lead, there's many different ways that we can market to the homeowner. We can call them, we can send mailing campaigns, we can create a website, we can send videos to their email that they click and they watch a short little video. Have you any data on which of those has worked better for others?
I don't, honestly, just because there are, I deal with a lot of different solar reps, and I don't know all of their methods, of contact and what works best for them. And quite frankly, when I tried it, some of the guys that I know are repeat buyers that buy a ton of leads. They don't want to share it a lot of the times, what they're doing that works so well. I do have a couple general ideas that I know work better than others. But as far as like if there's just some perfect method, I would say no, because it changes by region, it changes by the personality of each person that's reaching out. But I would say that if we're going to talk about the number one thing that I would recommend, that if you're using aged leads, how to make them convert and how to make sure you have the most success, it would be a dialing system for efficiency purposes. Because it's okay when you get an exclusive lead, and let's say you get 10 a week, right? That's no big deal to dial yourself on your own phone 10 leads a week. Everybody can do that. 2 leads a day. Are you kidding me? It takes 2 minutes. But when you buy a list of 2,000 aged leads or 10,000 aged leads, are you really going to want to sit there and dial by hand every lead, one by one by one by one?
Those that care the most will. No.
Yeah, maybe. But the thing is, that's where I would say that 99% of the negative feedback from someone that has bought leads, aged leads from myself or others, is they are dialing by hand. And it's because it takes time, right? And then with an aged lead, you're going to run into some people that already have solar, they've moved, the numbers disconnected, whatever it is. And when you go into, you get into a stretch of bad, a bad 40 or 50 leads because they're old or whatever the case is, like that might completely turn you off, and you still have another 5,000 leads to call, and you're not ever going to call them because you're like, screw this. I called 50 leads and nobody's, I haven't gotten anywhere with 50 leads. How you avoid that is with a dialing system that is going to help you efficiently get through a large list of leads. That's going to, basically dial out a few different, numbers at the same time, so that when someone picks up, you're ready to, your system will automatically ping you to talk to that person, and you can it's just very, very efficient for your time to do that way. So that's the number one thing.
So we've talked a little bit about the understanding that aged leads are lightly used, heavily used, doesn't matter. We understand that. We understand what we're purchasing. We've now also talked about and understand that when we purchase those aged leads, we need to have systems and processes set in place in order to sustain the conversion of these leads, right?
Right.
On top of that, we also have to have marketing set in place that supersedes those others that have purchased these aged leads. Better videos, better mailing campaigns, better at knocking doors, whatever it might be, whatever medium we decide to use. With all of those 3 steps and all of the considerations that go into those 3 steps, does it make more sense to buy exclusive leads, even though they're more expensive, because you're bypassing and filtering a lot of that stuff?
I would say no, because you're really not bypassing that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, unless you yourself, your company, your exact company is doing the marketing themselves, and you're not technically buying exclusive leads, maybe those are a little bit different. So if you're ABC Solar in Phoenix, Arizona, and you generate your own leads from your own page, your own website, stuff like that, yes, those are theoretically probably the best leads there are, right? But with exclusive lead generators, there's a million of them. They're going to be like generating that lead from a generic page, right? It's not going to be branded for your company. So then at that point, you've got to have processes and systems, and you've got to get to the point to inform them and educate them about your marketing, your methods. So you don't really get to skip a step. I guess it would all depend on, like I said, the two types of exclusive leads. If they're generated by your company specifically, yes, you would probably be right that those are the best that you can get. If you're paying someone else to generate them for you, it's not much different than an age lead.
Okay, that makes sense. So we have these exclusive leads, we have age leads, and we have the exclusive age leads, right?
Right. Yeah.
Those are the three types of leads. Now, inside of age leads, and this is just recapping, inside of age leads, you also listed 3 different categories inside of age leads, right?
I believe so.
Of those 3 categories inside of the age leads, which is the biggest bang for the buck? Have you, like, one of them you mentioned needed or has tracking on it? You called it something coin?
Well, I call them opt-in tokens.
Opt-in tokens.
Yeah, tokens.
You.
Yep.
So tokens. So you have this unique ID that tracks these leads and where they came from. Is it better to purchase those with that data than it is to purchase age leads? Because I guess my thought, where my brain went, was, let's say it's an exclusive lead. A homeowner filled something out and now wants that information. Can the company then mask another landing page and send that to that person and have them fill that one out, thinking it's a whole different company that's filling it out? And now they have 2 leads from the same homeowner and they sell those 2 different leads to 2 different people. I guess how integral is this data? How integral are these companies? Like, where do we get safety in purchasing leads that are promised to be in these different buckets?
That's a very interesting scenario. It does go on where you basically are showing a homeowner, the same homeowner, 6 different, slightly different landing pages that they fill out, and then you've technically got 6 exclusive leads to sell, right?
Right.
There's not much to stop that. There is the token itself, when it's generated from one particular landing page, has some protections because you can sort of track it, right? But if the company is redirecting or remarketing to that same person and getting them 6 different times, there's not much you can do for that. And that's exactly like why I tend to gravitate towards aged leads, because there's things like that can happen in the exclusive lead world. Unless, again, caveat being, unless you're ABC Solar and you're doing the marketing yourself and generating all the stuff in-house, and there's no questions about it. You know what I mean? You put the ad out. The ad is directly for your company, and that lead goes directly to your company. You have full control of the entire process. That's a different thing than what we're talking about.
And that does bring me to my next question. I know for those that sell leads, this is the most annoying question on the planet because everyone asks it. How much is it to build our own program to create those leads for ourselves so that we know they're exclusive and they're not being tattered and used and abused by everyone else?
So it is expensive. First of all, if you don't know how to do it yourself, you have to hire someone that's a marketing expert. We're looking on the low end. If you're getting somebody out of college and they know what they're doing or whatever, you're looking on the low end, like, depending on where you are in the country too, but like at least like $50,000 a year minimum just for the person to do it. Okay. Just to do it. Then you've got to spend the money on the ad budget itself, right? So you're already in $50,000 for the person to generate them. Then you're going to be spending another, like, I don't know. That's all. I mean, if you're one guy, or a couple guys or gals, then, you might only have to spend $1,000 or $2,000 a month on top of the labor costs, for the employee that's doing it. But if you're a large team, you're looking at $10,000, $20,000 a month to generate these exclusive leads for you. And that's where you get in trouble. And that's where a lot of the large solar companies that I work with, it just doesn't make sense if you've got 100 people or 1,000 reps, like, are you really going to spend $200,000 a month? If you're doing that well, where you can afford it, more power to you. But if you don't realistically have that kind of cash flow coming in to put that much money back into marketing, it gets expensive.
Makes sense. There's some myths I want to debunk with you here. Some thoughts that door knockers have. Essentially, those would be your clients, right?
Yep.
Or the easier ones. They have a need and a desire to sell something, and your objective is to make that easier for them, right?
Right.
And to David's point, he mentioned he hasn't seen very good testimonials or reviews on this process. So, I guess, what is it? I saw a comment on Facebook. Some marketing company said something like, "Marketing beats door knocking every single time. It's longevity. It lasts longer, saves energy, all that kind of stuff." And immediately my thought went to like, well, they would have to have data to make that claim, right? What is the cost of doing age leads and building these systems and processes versus the ability to go out and knock doors? If a sales rep can generate for the company, let's just say $1 million in revenue, right? Why would a company spend money on aged leads? I guess. What's the point?
So I would say
or why would a sales rep even switch to spending money on aged leads? And how much money would they have to spend to get the same results?
So that's the second part of that. The how much money they would have to spend is a little tougher question, and I'll try to answer that here in a second. But why would they do that is a little easier to answer. Why someone would do that is because you are only one person. You can only walk so fast. You can only talk so fast. You can only go to so many houses in a day, right? Also, let's just say, call it like it is. Sometimes it's hot as hell, and sometimes people don't want to walk out and door knock when it's 110 degrees, or if it's storming, or if it's winter. You know what I mean? There are some environmental factors. There are limitations to, how much time you actually have as a person. I mean, there's only so much time. So that's where an expert door knocker that loves it, that is great at it, can still utilize something like age leads to just, basically amplify their outreach, talk to more homeowners quicker. The second part of that, which I've completely, what was the second part of the question there that you were asking?
Yeah, the second part is when someone makes a claim like marketing is better than knocking doors, for the reasons that you just suggested. There's variables in weather or whatever they might be.
Right.
I guess the question is, how do you know that? Like, how do you know that? Because there's variables. With a door knocker, how good is the door knocker? Are they an expert closer or are they not an expert closer? But in order to make a claim that marketing is better than door knocking, wouldn't you have to know those same variables in order to make that same claim?
So this is just me from my perspective of that. Marketing, and I think this is where they're coming from. Marketing can be better if the person already knows who you are before you talk to them, right? Door knocking is a lot of the time it's a cold introduction. Okay. And it works. And if you're a expert and you're really good at door knocking, it works for you. And there are canvassing teams that absolutely kill it. I'm not even going to argue that, right? Or dispute that. It works. Door knocking works. Everybody knows this. Okay. Where marketing can sometimes be better is that, like I said, you're introduced to the company. They know who you are when you show up, or if you call, or if they call you on an inbound. That's another thing marketing can provide for you is it generates inbound traffic that door knocking never will. Door knocking is all outreach, right? Like there's no such thing as like somebody
leads. We just talked about all the different medians we need to utilize in order to get that to convert, right?
Right. Yeah, sure. Are you saying like marketing, you need these certain things in place to make it work?
In marketing, you have to have those medians in order to make it work. Otherwise, especially if they're aged leads, as you're saying, or exclusive leads that may be aged and we don't know.
Right. Or even if they are exclusive in real time and all that. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So we have to have paid for something to convert, whether it's a video, a mailing campaign, a system that tracks things. My question is, where is that line? Where's the efficiency? If we're going to say that marketing is better than door knocking, if we're going to market that way and get these door knockers to convert to be clients to Age Leads, where's the data? Why are they claiming this? How are you? And I'm not trying to beat you up here, but how are you possibly saying this on here if you don't know that number?
Yeah, that's a question I don't know if I could answer as far as like where the data comes from or who has data on that, because I don't do marketing for reps. You know what I mean? Like I do marketing for homeowners. You know what I mean? So
how much money do I have to spend on these systems in order, on average? Because I know that some sales reps are going to be bad, some are going to be phenomenal. How much money do I have to spend, not just on Age Leads, but all of these systems and processes to know that I'm going to make the same amount that year as I would door knocking? And for me, that data has to be available. Otherwise, the claims have to stop.
The data, I can tell you the price if I knew. So what does it cost? I guess my first question would be like, how much does it cost over a week's, let's just say 7-day period to door knock particular areas, right? What is the cost? Is it just gas? Is it food?
If we're talking about the income, let's say that I want to make $1 million in a year, and I can do that knocking doors, and I've done that for the past 4 years. Let's just say made $1 million every year. And someone comes to me and says, Age Leads is the way to do it. Marketing beats door knocking every time. I'm thinking, well, great. I love that idea. I don't want to door knock anymore, but I need to make my $1 million. If a marketing agency can claim Age Leads is better, marketing is better, and door knocking is only limited, based off of what data? How much do I have to spend, and how long would it take for me to get $1 million again on average? Because in order to claim it's the best, you also have to know what the worst is, which means you would also have data on what the average is for everyone in the country to be able to make a claim like that, right?
Right. And that's why I'm not the one making that claim. As far as the data, I don't know. I that's not a question I can answer as far as that is what the data is. I just know that the perspective that they're coming from, which is just, again, back to time efficiency and maximizing your time and outreach. I couldn't tell you. I know it's possible. I know if you make $1 million door knocking with leads and systems, there is a way to make $2 million doing it that way, right? Just like there is, but I get your perspective. You could just say, well, I could do 2 million door knocking too. Well, yes, you could, but how much do you want to beat your body down to, get to that point when you could use some systems, some automation, some dialing systems, cheap leads to talk to more homeowners. I guess another thing that I would say is like there would be data needed to be shared from both sides, right? I would need to know from a door knocker's perspective, how many do they talk to in a day? Like how many throughout a day can someone talk to? Isn't
it easier just to not make the claim at all and just say it's just a different way of getting leads?
You're right there. Yeah, it's probably a much different way. It's different. Like and that's why I don't phrase things like that. I would phrase things like, as an alternative method, hey, if you're tired of sweating and freezing and whatever, try this. Not that it's just a flat, just blanket or just like a statement this is better. It is better. Saying it as it's a fact more so than like, it could be, or hey, it's alternative. Try this. You know what I mean? I would never say it the way that you presented it. So that's why I have a tough time answering this.
Well, that's good. But you're a diamond in the rough, because to David's point, we get those every day. This is a better way. Can you handle more lead? Can you handle more volume? It's like, at what cost? And that's my next question to you. What's a good cost amount? Let's say I'm an average sales rep, average at closing, average at everything. What would it cost me in order to build an infrastructure like the one you're suggesting to house Age Leads?
So just the system. So you want some sort of a CRM, which you can get those for 30, 40, 50, $70 a month. So that's one place to start. Okay. Dialers. There's a lot of different dialers. You can spend another $50, $100, $200 a month, $500 a month on dialers. Just depends on what level
Will you
you
explain
want.
for everyone what a dialer is?
So a dialer is going to be a software that you are able to upload a list of numbers, leads, whatever you want to call them. And the software will help you efficiently dial through those leads. There's so many. I don't want to get too deep into them because there's so many. They all have different features. They all have different ways that they're better than the next one, and ways that will dial. Some will dial out 10 phone numbers at one time, and if a voicemail picks up, it just cuts it off and dials another one until you get a live person on the phone, and the software detects that there's a live person on the phone. You'll get a beep in your headphone or whatever if you're on your computer making the calls, and then you're talking to somebody, so that you're not having to sit there and dial 111 111 1111 over, and then nobody answered, 111 222. You know what I mean? You don't just sit there and dial numbers all day. It's just a tool that helps you go through leads faster.
I understand. And the way that it works is, I guess there's different levels of it depending on how much
Yes.
you can pay for that.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's a
Just like
exactly.
anything in the world.
Just like anything. There's
All
very
right, so
base level stuff.
$70 for a CRM. What's a good price for a dialer?
Couple $100, few $100. So I would say a month. And then some of them will charge you like a per minute cost. So also depends on how many calls you plan on making, but let's just say an average number. If you want to get started in just doing this, $400.
Well, I mean, we would need to create the videos that we're going to send out to them in emails, draft up the emails, create graphics. I mean, if we wanted to do it at a higher level to compete and beat out the other people that have purchased these age leads, wouldn't we want to do it at a higher value and a higher quality than other organizations?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to want to have some differentiators for sure.
So what's a good amount to be able to sustain that, to be what might be some of the best marketing out there? And I know that's subject to the person viewing it. And
that just it's okay. So if you're doing it yourself, if you're an individual and you don't have a company with a marketing department that's creating videos and graphics already to share via TV, their own social channels or whatever that you can just pick from and just put that into your CRM, because that wouldn't cost, that's not really going to cost you anything as a rep. If your company already has those assets, you can just port them over into your stuff, right? But if you're an individual, you're going to have to get another service, something like Canva. Canva's $14-15 a month. It's basically like an editing software for graphics, videos. There's another service called InVideo. It's $30 a month, and it allows you to access like all these different stock video, basically stock videos from multiple different platforms. Allows you to easily edit stuff. So it's not super expensive. So, I mean, you can get great graphics and videos and stuff for, again, less than $50 a month. Now, it's going to take your time, and, that's, subject to whatever you think your time's worth, but
that's okay. Because if we're not door knocking anymore, essentially, then we have time to work on these things, right?
Right.
Yeah. And then, it's personal preference, because, and I know I've been arguing from the side of door knocking only because I take that back. You're going to want door knocking clients, but if someone is already purchasing age leads, that would also be a client, because they're probably a warmer client than a door knocker, I would suppose, because they're used to buying age leads. They already have understand how it works, right?
Oh, those are the best customers. People that buy age leads all the time, and they just bounce around from different company looking for data that's good and works best for them and converts better than the last data company or whatever. Those are the best clients.
Yeah, they see the value in it. You don't have to sell the value.
Nope.
You just have to sell your quality and service, right?
Right.
Okay. That's helpful to understand. So when we put all of this together, all said and done, what is a good amount in a month to start converting, let's say 5 installs a month for an average sales rep? How much money do I have to spend on building those videos, the CRM, the email drips, all of that kind of stuff?
So all that stuff, we're looking at $400 or $500 with all of the drips, the emails, the CRMs, the graphics, the videos, right? Dialer, all that. You're looking at $400 or $500 there. And I'm just going on the low end. Again, you can spend whatever you want with however many robust features you want. Then comes to the the amount of data or leads that you need. That's going to be determined on like your goals, right? So if you want to close 5 a month, let's say right now that the national average for an install in solar is about, I think it's around like $1,800 the last time I saw.
For customer acquisition expense?
Customer acquisition expense, $1,800 ish was the last time I saw, right?
So for those listening, customer acquisition cost is a way to put it. And I swear to you, the first time I heard this word, I double took. I was in a high-end meeting at dinner with a bunch of people dressed in suits, and those that know me, I don't do that. And so when they just started, these grown adults started talking, and they said, "What's your CAC?" I was like, "Excuse me." Customer acquisition costs. But for those that don't know, that encompasses all expenses associated with bringing a client into the business that converted to revenue.
Right.
Okay.
So that number's, like I said, last time I saw it, could change now. I know things are changing in the world every day. So you're looking at $1,800, and that's for traditional methods, right? That's through real time. That's through radio, TV, door knock. That's everything all together kind of averaged out, right? Where I tend to believe, and this could be my bias, this could be just the feedback I get from others. You can get lower than that with aged leads with the right systems in place. So if you've got your graphics, your CRMs, your dialers and everything, and you get your leads, you should be able to get lower than that with a solar, with aged solar leads. So if you're wanting 5 installs a month, I would say that you need to go through and an aged leads, a good conversion to an appointment ratio is about 2%. So if you're getting even on like the worst stuff, like some of the worst stuff, you should be able to get like 2 appointments for every 100 numbers you call. Okay. Now that might sound like a lot off, right off the jump, but if you've got a dialer and all those systems, you go through 100 calls in 10 minutes. So it's really not that big a, deal once you've got your systems in place. So I would say, and then at that point, appointment, your closing ratio is your closing ratio. Once you get to an appointment, the lead is no longer a factor. You're in front of the person. They're interested to some level, and you've got to close them, right? So I don't know.
So when we're quantifying the value of purchasing aged leads, we need to quantify that value based off of the amount of clients that we get in front of, and not necessarily what closes.
100%. 100%. That's all that matters. I mean, all we're trying to do, and that's what you people are paying $400, $300, $200, whatever dollars for an appointment. Like David mentioned, like people coming in his DMs and stuff, selling appointments or whatever. Like, that's the people that are doing that are trying to bypass all of this to where they just get you in front of someone, right? So if you're doing it yourself using these methods and aged leads, it's a tough it's tough to say how many you would need. I mean, total amount of money to get 5, and I would say $5,000. If we're talking realistically, if you want 5 installs a month, I would say $5,000.
Just on the leads themselves, not all the other video content.
No, everything total.
Oh,
I'm saying everything total. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying everything total. And I'm just trying to be realistic. I've got really great stories where people spend $900 and sell $400,000 in solar. Like I have those all day. I've got testimonials on my website of people that have had these experiences, but those are not the normal. I don't want to lie and tell people.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, most people just tell the highlights. Wow, $900. I have a guy that did it. You're telling averages, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to, like I said, be as transparent as possible. So I'm not some guy just sliding in DMs telling you, can you handle 15 to 20 appointments this week?
Yes. That was too good. Are you sure that's not you doing that?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe it's crazy to me.
Hey, want to get your brand in front of a dedicated solar audience? Sponsor an episode of the Morning Energy Show podcast. Showcase your brand with curated and produced video stories reaching an ever-growing solar community. This is your chance to highlight your brand to the industry leaders and solar enthusiasts alike. Head over to themorningenergyshow.com now to sponsor your episode.
I'm going to go on a mini rant here for about 10 seconds. How in the world does every single marketer or whatever they are that slides into everybody's DMs say the same thing word for word? Is it AI or is it these real people? It blows my mind.
It's got to be on a rotation. I mean, imagine one company has your information and they've generated 35 different profiles that message you those things. It could be.
It has to be like these bot farms in like India or Pakistan or something that are literally just like sending out automated messages to people like all day long, every day. It has to be, because there's no way.
20 more leads.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's all right. Rant over.
Like, no, I cannot. No, thank you. That's funny you said that, because that was actually going to be my next question. Kind of a sidetrack here is so we're in a constantly changing world, and where we're at right now, things are changing on a quicker pace than anybody's ever seen, and a lot of things are being geared towards AI, like everything on our life. Okay, and getting solar appointments, definitely not away from that either. So what's it looking like in the landscape of, instead of me myself, let's say I wanted to venture in this and maybe not door knock as much and try some of these age leads, instead of getting on the phone doing this myself, start using some of these AI bots to either do text campaigns. I see that's a thing, or even some that even probably AI, phone agents as well. Haven't dealt with them, but what's that landscape looking like that, and how's that look like? Is it as effective as what you're seeing as people actually calling? And yeah, just kind of if you could dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, I'll go into a couple different levels. So a few months ago, I thought it was going to be the future. I thought that your traditional call center was going to go away and AI was going to get to the point where it was so good that you could be one person and have a 70-seat call center and it's all AI. And it's, and that's where we were headed. Like, we really legitimately were. And we still are in a way. But then the government came down with regulation on AI voice calls, and it was an immediate regulation, effective immediately, right? So unless you have like full-on consent, which is like, bomb-proof, TCPA worded inside the disclaimer on the website of the form that the homeowner filled out, specifically says you are opting into being contacted by a pre-recorded voice, blah, 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 right? If you're not saying that, you can't even call using AI anymore legally. So that's one big caveat. I thought it was going to be a free for all. Up until that regulation, I was like, well, it's coming. People are just going to throw in lists of leads like crazy and just let AI call them like crazy, which you can if you're spending the money to generate them yourself or pay a marketer to get those, consent legal leads for AI on the calling end. The texting end's a little bit different. You can, it's a little easier to text using AI. So there are people that do that. They'll use sort of like a text bots or AI bots that will sort of hold conversations back and forth through text. That's a lot easier to do than calling now. But that's a good question, and it's definitely coming. And the thing about regulation is it can change. I'm not going to even begin to get in any politics whatsoever, but things change every few years, and certain people like this and the next people don't. So you got to just stay on your toes. So as of right now, though, it's tough to call AI. It's expensive. Not tough. It's expensive. It's expensive to call using AI. But yes, you can text.
And the texting, I've seen some people in some of the groups I'm in. I don't know them personally, so could be blown smoke, but it seem legitimate that say they've kind of been using the AI bots to set appointments, and even goes as far as to say closing deals. I don't know the extent of that, but is that realistic to have just an AI bot effectively set appointments for you? Just, if so, that seems incredibly cheap. Once you have the bot doing its thing, and I don't know much about this, but that seemed like that would be definitely worth a shot.
So Yeah, it's possible. It's absolutely possible. I know people that do it. I know a lot of people that do that. The thing is, like, in my world, there are so many tools that people use. There are a million arrows for your quiver, right? And I want people to use all these tools that they can. Like, I would never tell somebody that you only need to be doing AI texting. Forget dialers, forget calls, forget emails. All you do is AI. That's not the advice I give people. I basically give people to, like, the advice to come in with a full arsenal. And I don't care what type of lead you're using. I don't care if you're using mine, if you're using your self-generated from your company. You want to have all the tools available at your disposal, and you want to use them all because, as Jake mentioned earlier, you just want to differentiate yourself. You want your marketing to look better. You want to look more professional. You want to look like you've got all your bases covered. And the best way to do that is to do AI texting, do emailing, do dialing yourself, do send out videos through email, do direct mail campaigns where you send a mail, or go hang mailers on doors and mailboxes, whatever it is, or even like home improvement type events or conferences or stuff like that, or farmers market, whatever you do. Like, I would say do it all. So my advice would be, use all the tools at your disposal.
Yeah, that's great advice. Do you know what it would cost to set up a bot?
Everybody's. If you're familiar with how people have their own, like, Go High Level builds, CRM, are you familiar with Go High Level?
I know of it. I don't know much about it. So you're saying you can build a bot within their system?
Right. You can build bots within these type of systems. And then at that point, it's like, how much does it cost is how much you want to pay. There's guys that do it for $39.99 a month, and there's guys that do it for $3,000 a month.
Yeah. I guess I have a question for you surrounding all of this. It seems to me that when we talk with people that supply leads, age leads, or in this case you tend to know the conversion side of it, the marketing side of it. You should do this. You should get dialers. You should. Why? Is it pretty standard for people to come to you and let me rephrase this. Why are people asking you those questions? Why are we asking you those questions? Isn't your business just selling the age leads, and however we decide to do all of that is up to us?
It is. Yeah. Yes. However, in a perfect world, the car's already built and I just have the fuel for it, right? In a perfect world, you just bought a car, you bought a brand new Corvette, you need some 93 octane for it. You come to me, you come to my gas station, right? That's a perfect world. Well, we're not in a perfect world, and not everyone knows even what a car is in this world. So sometimes I've got to know all this. I got to know how to build a car. I got to know how to replace the engine. I got to know how to put new tires on it. And then once I get you to the point where the car's ready to go down the road, I can give you some fuel. So just from my perspective, I've got to know all this so that you buy my gas.
Doesn't that open up your liability and probably affect repeat business? Because now you're taking on the role of consulting and saying this is all you have to do. They trust you. They believe you. They buy your product. They go out and they can't perform to that level because they don't know what they're doing. So they blame you. There's the liability. And then they never purchase from you again. Isn't it easier just to separate and say, look, I can teach you all those things. I'm here to sell you leads. Do you want them or not?
No, you're right. You're right. And I'm too nice. I just am. So I typically offer up this advice, and I'll talk with someone and try to help them out as much as I can when I probably shouldn't. So I don't know. It is what it is. That's just me personally, how I am. I try to be helpful. But yeah, I mean, there is that risk where you tell someone some advice and they take it literally and they go try to implement it. And it doesn't work out. And they were like, well, that dude's full of crap.
Even though you have nothing to do with that. You're just there to sell the gas. To make it, yeah.
100%.
Interesting. So is that a factor that as someone that sells leads, is that a factor that you consider? Like, and I know you're on here gracing us with your education right now about all of this stuff. So maybe you don't do it in day-to-day practice, but you're helping us here now, and I'm thankful for that. In your day-to-day practice, are most lead sellers cognitive? Are they aware of of the liability of giving advice like that?
I don't think so. Just because I'm not I'm not on an island when it comes to aged leads, right? I have peers that are competitors, but I'm not a weird, ruthless type of guy. So I communicate with other people that sell leads like I do. And I'm not familiar of anyone that are just like, no, I'm not telling them anything. Come buy it and go away. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we want them to be successful so that they come and buy more gas, right? So like, I don't know, man. It's tough. It's a catch-22. It's like, you want to help, and sometimes it works, sometimes it hurts. But the goal is to, give them the best opportunity to close deals so that and just being frank, that they continue to be a customer.
That's a fascinating concept. I don't know if I've put together, and based on the questions David was asking, it sounds like maybe it's a common misconception that people selling leads should understand how to market and convert, right? I imagine some dude pulling up to a gas station attendant, gasoline, what kind of car should I buy? It's like, wait, what? I'm at the gas station.
Yeah,
that's kind of a funny concept. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah, and I could be a unique case because I've done every angle of this, right? So I've done everything in advertising you can think of. I've done, traditional, I've done print, I've done TV, I've done radio, I've done lead generation, selling leads that other people generated, selling leads I've done all these different things. So I sort of have a little more knowledge base than, I guess, your average person. So maybe it's unique to me that I share this much information with people that ask, and maybe it's not good. And it is a liability that, I'm risking them not being able to implement it correctly, or it just doesn't work for them. So I don't want to speak for everybody in this industry, but, in theory, I would want to be as helpful as possible so my stuff works, is the easiest way to say it.
I actually really love that we went through this, because just here at the very end, it made me understand the separation. And I think I can really illustrate that in the book to help people understand the importance of knowing some of the steps and how they're going to convert in the processes before coming and harassing and bothering sweet, innocent people like you to teach them how to sell the product that they're purchasing from you, right?
Right.
Interesting. David, have you got any other questions?
Yeah, I think I got a question for you, Rance. And this, I think, is just a chance for you to speak a little bit about yourself, which I think you have been. But, let's say a guy like myself, or even, companies that are buying $20,000 worth of leads, a month, are looking at a few different companies, trying to think who they want to go with. What would you say, I guess it's just a chance for you to sell yourself or your company, why should I work with a guy like you instead of this XYZ company over here telling me this other stuff that they got the best leads and I should go with them?
Well, I think I'm very transparent. I kind of tell it like it is. I'm not going to sell you gold when it's coal. I'll tell you, if you're not getting my best quality stuff, because there are levels of different things that we offer. We don't just offer one type of age lead. I'll be very honest. Another factor is with us, the time factor, how long it takes to get the leads. I am the only person, and our company is the only one that does them on demand, instant download, right? So there's a million lead providers, but those guys, even if you're doing, the best exclusive lead gen people, like, it takes some time to set up your campaigns and for leads to start coming in. So that's not an instant thing. And even in age leads, a lot of the times the process is, hey, this is what I need. Get me a count. Oh, you got this many? Okay, I'll take this many. Send me an invoice. I pay the invoice. I then wait for you to send me the leads. Could be 3, 4, 5 days later. Okay. Our website, it's all developed where you can search your areas around the country, see exactly what's available right then, add it to a cart, download immediately. Okay. So that's the second thing I would say. I'm transparent. Second thing, we have them on demand. You get them instantly. If you're in a crunch and it's Monday morning and you need leads, we're there for you. Third thing is, we're going to actually replace the bad leads, right? So our customer service is unmatched. You know what I mean? We're going to do everything we can to make sure that you have the full amount of workable leads that you paid for. Whereas a lot of the times on other age lead vendors, it's just like, well, that's just age leads. You got to understand that, when you buy age leads, there's going to be a lot of crap in there, and just deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, there's some people that have that attitude. I choose not to have that attitude. And if it's a numbers game and your last batch was great, but this batch isn't great, and there's some more disconnected numbers or whatever the case is, more people that already have solar than typical, I'll make it right. So I guess that would be the three things is transparency, the time factor, and then the fact that, customer service is really good.
It's great. Appreciate that.
I have 2 final questions for you, unless David has another one. David?
I'm all set. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. So 2 final questions. Question number 1 is, from those different age leads, the ones with tokens, or I call them unique IDs for trackability, right? What a token is. What is a good range of a price difference between one that has a token and age leads that do not? What's a good range for that?
So typically ones that don't are, I'm just going to choose 7 to 30 days as the range of the lead, because they're, just to not get too much in the weeds. But on a 7 to 30 day lead without a token, you're probably going to pay anywhere from like 25 to 50 cents a lead. Okay. Somewhere in there. And that's without a token. With a token, you're going to pay anywhere from about $2 to $5 per lead.
Interesting. Okay. So within that 25 to 50 cents or $2 to $5 range, let's just pick one of them, 25 to 50 cent range. Within that range right there, what dictates that range? Like, why is one organization going to be at 25 cents and why is one going to be at 50? Is it all the additional perks and services like those you just listed with David, that you have those other things involved and you may have to replace others? You have systems in place that allows you to give quality service. Is that what the range is for?
Typically. I mean, yeah, just from the business aspect, there's costs for things. There's costs for data. The data has a cost. The time has a cost. The systems have a cost. Replacing them have a cost. Yes. Yeah. The easy answer is yes. There's factors that determine those prices.
So like any product, we don't just go and buy. It's not just like we're buying an aged lead. We are actually buying a service as well with that lead.
Right.
And whatever amount we want to pay is the quality of service and perks that we get in conjunction with the asset itself, right?
Right. If you're a legit company, right? If you're a legit company providing age leads, and you're not not just doing some crazy markup to make money and don't care after that.
Understood. Thank you very much. Second question I have is, when a company purchases leads and they disperse those leads to their sales reps, let's say they go through the filtration process and they create a lead. Do you by chance, and I don't expect you to know this because it's a little bit outside of maybe of what I asked you to come on for, but do you know about how much in solar those are, when a company buys leads from you? Let's say that they pay $5,000 for aged leads, and then they pay for all their employees to run, their marketing team to run the videos that need to be created and all the campaigns. There's overhead associated with these leads that they purchase from you, the car and the gasoline, right? How do you know about how many pennies per watt that should add to a company in overhead in order for them to keep the same margin?
I don't. I could not even speak to that, just because I don't have usually I don't have a line of communication to that level with the people that buy the leads from us, right? I have as far as they'll go with me is basically being like, hey, they're working. We lowered our costs, and I don't know what they lowered it by. I don't know, what all they're doing with them. Like I said, I don't have all that transparency from their end to share with me exactly, why or how or what the prices are. No, I don't know.
That is fair. And I kind of assume that, but I guess a statement that we can make that is safe is, if you are provided a lead from a solar company, it should be expected that that lead will not have as low of a red line or as high as a commission as a self-generated lead, because there is overhead. That is a safe statement, right?
Well, when you say self-generated, what do you mean? Do you mean that it was a referral? Do you mean that it was an inbound call because someone heard about you or they saw a billboard?
By
Or was
self-generated, I mean just no money was spent by the company on these
okay,
leads to
okay,
give the lead. I brought the lead to the company and closed the project.
gotcha. So yeah, I mean, there'd be a small amount of cost involved with that. Yeah, if there's truly no money being spent on a self-gen.
Okay. Yeah, I guess just some sales reps, some organizations believe, a lead is a lead. Give it to me. I don't want a higher red line if you give it to me. My red line, let's just say, is $2.80. Why are you charging me $3.20 for this lead? And like, what? It's because there's costs, there's expenses, right? And I believe I've seen those passed down the organizations I've worked with. I have seen those expenses passed down to the sales rep. As a sales rep, I'm not complaining, because primarily if I'm out there knocking doors and I'm generating leads that way, self-generation, whether it's referral, phone call, I knock on the door, whatever it is, that's stuff that came through my network. If a company is providing me an asset, if the company is providing me an appointment, I cannot expect to get paid at the same rate as if I self-generated it, because of because of this conversation we've had here today. We've already learned that it costs money for aged leads. We've already learned that it costs money to generate the videos and the content and the email drips and the employees needed and the dialers. We already know that. So as a sales rep, we can't expect the same type of commission on a lead provided to us versus one that we generated ourselves.
Yeah, I would say that's probably not unrealistic. If the company you're working for is providing you with those resources, then yes, I think it would be fair to expect some sort of, I guess, sacrifice on your end.
Sure. And I just wanted to put this in this video here so that those that are watching, if they do have that question or they feel frustrations from their installer, it is widely known that there is additional expenses associated with giving you an appointment versus you generating an appointment. And so I would expect the commission to be different. And I think that's okay.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. And even as a sales rep, I would say they should look at it similar to as if they just a closer setter model. If I'm a closer and I have a setter, I have to pay out that setter. It's not like a self gen. So at the very least, you have to consider it like that. That's not your lead. That's not a self gen, 30%, 40, 50, whatever you pay, and that's going to be equivalent to kind of what you were saying, Jake, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 cents. Be a very similar concept.
Rance and David, this has been a fun one. I've actually learned more on this one than some others, just because I'm highly knowledgeable in some of the other ones. This one I thought I was pretty knowledgeable, but I learned a significant amount of information. So thank you, Rance, for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
David, thank you for the questions. You brought some up that I didn't even think of. Is there anything else that you might want to go over, Rance?
Yeah, I do. I want to go over the impending regulation that's coming in January 2025, because it's a big topic with all this. It's kind of the big dark cloud, or the big elephant in the room that many people have talked about for the last few months. So there was a new law passed by the FCC a few months ago that everybody's calling the one-to-one consent law. And on its surface, it looked and appeared to be that aged leads are dead. You'll never be able to sell an aged lead, or even a lead that's been sold more than one time, right? One-to-one consent. It's pretty clear what that means. It stated that, you must have express written consent from a homeowner directly from a page or form that is attributed to your company and only your company, right? So that's what everybody thought, meaning that the way of generating leads back in the, not even back in the day, just right now, how a lead is typically generated with a landing page. In order for compliance purposes, all you have to do is list the name of a company that's going to be calling, somewhere on a disclaimer page, right? And typically what lead generators are doing now is you can literally just go and copy and paste a list of every solar company in America, put it on your partners page, and that allows it to be compliant right now. Well, they were trying to get around that loophole or end that loophole so that that couldn't happen anymore. Okay. And everybody was panicking and freaking out. They're like, well, lead gen's dead. All my whole, plan of getting inexpensive leads for my company, and our costs are about to go through the roof. Things are already tough. It's about to get even crazier, blah, blah, blah. People were really freaking out. The more research I've done, the more court rulings that have happened, and it's not just me, research that anyone's done. The SBA, the Small Business Administration, got involved. How I mentioned earlier about the AI calling, that was an immediate ruling that just went into effect immediately. This one was going to be very, sort of like that, but the Small Business Administration got involved, and they were like, well, you got to give people till January 2025 at least to get things prepared, right? Like, this is going to affect not just solar. This is every outbound sales related industry in the country is affected by this, or was, theoretically affected by this. So after hours of deliberating with lawyers and TCPA lawyers and law firms and research directly from the FCC and words and rulings, there was just a court case a couple weeks ago that reiterated this. And basically, the only thing that's affected by this one-to-one consent rule that everybody's talked about is the dialing system itself. So in order to use a lead in what the government classifies as an automatic telephone dialing system, ATDS, right? It's not just every dialer. Every software and every dialer that you can use, Ready Mode, Kixie, a custom Vichy dial build, like whatever it is, like not all of those are considered automatic telephone dialing systems. What the government considers as an ATDS is a number with randomly generated rotating phone numbers. So if you're making outbound calls, this software is just pumping out phone numbers. So if you call Cleveland, Ohio, it's just randomly generating a Cleveland, Ohio area code phone number. So it doesn't look like you're getting called from somebody outside of state. So if you're calling from California to Ohio, it doesn't pop up as a California number, which likely would, cause someone to not answer the phone. So I don't want to get too in the weeds with this, even though I kind of already have. But the main thing to understand is that it's not the end of the world. You can still use dialers. You just want to make sure that the dialer you have isn't randomly generating rotating phone numbers. Many dialers, you purchase a phone number now, and that number is attributed to, and you've paid for that one particular phone number. That's fine. You can still use all the dialer systems using any type of leads you want. Obviously, everybody's still got to follow the DNC. The do not call list stuff is never going to change. But as far as using aged leads or old leads or whatever you want to call different types of leads, there's a million of them. But just remember that you're not using a dialer that doesn't have randomly generating rotating phone numbers. As long as you do that, you're good to go.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We didn't even talk about the do not call list, but that will be in the book. Rance, thank you for coming on here. David, thank you for coming on here. We're going to be hearing from you guys soon. Rance, if people want to get a hold of you, what is the very best way? I know we played your video with your website. You have a very catchy name. How do they get a hold of you?
You can go to agesolarleads.com. It's pretty right in the mouth, right there, So agesolarleads.com. You can email me, Rance at agesolarleads.com. And I'll help you out any way I can. I'm on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, search my name. But yeah, I would say the easiest way, go to the website or shoot me an email, Rance at agesolarleads.com.
Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom with us. We very much appreciate it and can't wait to get it in this book.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.